first topic of the day. I sort of put this in a bit tongue-in-cheek, but kind of serious because it is expanding next year. So, fellas, the question I have for you is the Club World Cup pointless? And what does it offer, you know? I mean, they're expanding it next year as well, after next season. But yeah, I guess, Sam, your opinions as a City fan and the only fan here that's experienced it.
I don't know. I don't think it's pointless because any trophy could be considered pointless. But I guess I'm only going to say it's not pointless because we're in the final of it, and it might be silverware, and it's silverware that not a lot of teams get to win. Like, although only 6 teams take part in it, it's still a chance, and it's stupid. It's still a chance to call yourself champions of the world, and it sounds so childish, champions of the world. But is it pointless? It's not the most prestigious tournament, is it? It's obviously 10 times harder to win the Why are you answering the doorbell, aren't you, weirdo? It's obviously 10 times harder to win the Champions League than it is to win the Club World Cup. But because I do automatically think that as soon as you get to the Club World Cup, if you're the European team, if you don't win it, then that's a bit embarrassing.
Well, the Brazilian teams are always pretty good in it, right?
Yeah, they're not as good as the European teams. They can't be, can they? Surely every time this tournament comes around, the European team must be the favourite every time.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, but
I wouldn't call it a pointless tournament. I'm looking forward to seeing it expand when we win the Champions League this year as well. So yeah, I don't know.
Well,
what's the expansion? What's the plans for expansion? Do you know?
It's expanding it to. I've got it here. So it'll expand to 32 teams starting June 2025. So it'll be immediately after the preceding season. It will include divided. I'm trying to think. So
the Champions League that's changing next season, isn't it? Champions League,
yeah. But I think it's including like the winners of the Champions League, the runners-up, the winners of the Europa League, the Copa Libertadores winners.
Well pronounced, that, mate.
Was that right? I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I think you did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Libertadores.
Yeah. Trying to think. Here we go. Yeah, so it's going to be massively expanded. But
so I think in answering the question, Liam, is it pointless? Yes, to anyone that's not in it.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So it's 2 clubs can qualify from one country for the new 32-team tournament, and England's 2 places will go into the most recent Champions League winners. So currently Chelsea and Manchester City.
Cool.
And so Arsenal could qualify if they win the Champions League this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to develop because it is a bit boring. You never know when it's on.
Right. So if Arsenal, so say it is Man City and Chelsea, then that'll be for June 2025, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Manchester City win again, it'll be Chelsea and City.
Yeah, but
right.
For me, that's not right though. Surely Chelsea are not one of the 32 best teams in the world.
So here we go. Europe will have 12 clubs in the 32-team tournament, and the spaces are allocated based on performances in the Champions League over 4 seasons, from 2020 to 21, up to and including this season. So if Arsenal win the Champions League this year, City and Arsenal would go through.
Yeah, but even if Arsenal...
And two more.
That's just from England. The only way you could get more than...
Yeah, I need to read up on this. I don't want to get into it too much on this because we're confusing each other. But...
Yeah, I would. So I don't think it's pointless, Liam. But my thoughts on it are that it's not fit for purpose. So if it's saying it's like the Club World Cup, you're champions of the world, surely it's got to be the toughest competition to win. Then it's got to be like the crown and jewel.
Yeah, but it can't be though.
It never will.
Okay, so if you... Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be as prestigious as it's supposed to be.
But then I think if you build it up and you put 6 teams from Europe in it, those 6 European teams are just going to dominate it anyway. It'll turn into a mini Champions League.
Yeah, it doesn't. I just don't think it's going to work.
I get the point. I get the point.
The Champions League. The Champions League's the pinnacle. Like it's essentially like it's a lot. Like Sam said, it's easier to win. It feels more like a pre-season friendly tournament to me.
But
Yeah,
is there a
Audi Cup,
chance?
yeah.
Is there a chance that the way they're expanding it leads to other leagues being able to develop better if they have regular competition against the best teams in the world?
No,
Does that make
because
sense?
because I don't think because they'll need the resources to do that. They'll need the players, and I don't think you're going to attract the players just for a tournament for a short period of time in June. You know, say you've got teams from like Asia or like you said, Brazil. They're still not going to develop their teams enough to compete with Europe because Europe will always be ahead. So I just don't think it'll ever work. To be honest with you, I don't see the point. Well, okay, so I said it wasn't pointless, but I'm leaning towards it now, Liam. I don't see the point. Can I give you a fun fact?
You can.
Sam said that obviously it'd be really embarrassing if the European team didn't win. Who was the last European team to not win?
Chelsea, I've just seen it.
yeah. Chelsea in 2012.
Just looking it up. So out of the 19 tournaments there's been, the winner has come from Europe 15 times and Brazil 4 times. So it's dominated by those two continents, and mainly,
It's like it reminds me of the Super Cup. You know, where you have the winners of the Champions League and the winners of the Europa League. Don't really get. It feels a bit like.
That works for me.
It's not. It's okay. It's like the Community Shield. It's like okay.
Yeah. So what's wrong? And what's wrong with that?
It's not the most exciting thing in the world, is it? It's like it's a match. Yeah. Okay.
Now is the Carabao Cup.
But the Champions League is when you've got the Champions League. It's like I'm really interested in that. I want to tune into it. That's exciting. This isn't in the same way at all because it's actually competitive. The Champions League. But anyway, what do you think, Liam? Where are you standing on it?
Yeah, I think if it was something that was held more sporadically at a larger scale, it might be more interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like do it in between the Euros and the World Cup.
Yeah.
And then have it as a larger tournament.
Yeah.
With they working it out however they want to work it out, but having more than one team from each league go into it. So it's as it says, 32 teams. I think that could make it more interesting, and they're more likely to get upsets. I mean, the US their league must be getting more competitive now because they're pumping the MLS are pumping quite a lot of money in, right? And they've always got a good system for bringing athletes through from youth groups. So
have you seen the new rules they've got?
Oh, the substitute rules.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's pointless, but I think you're right. It's not fit for purpose at the moment, and it just seems like an interruption to a season for a team. Like City are going to have to come back and play the day after Boxing Day against Everton, right? After playing 2 games this week.
Yeah, we're playing tomorrow. We've still got 6-day rest, but it's coming back from Saudi Arabia. Oh, sorry, no. It's Friday, so it's a 5-day rest. But
away to Everton. Ooh, that's not the easiest game to come back to.
It could have been worse. We had a game postponed this weekend, so
yeah.
Right, we were meant to play Brighton, I think, or
Brentford.
Brentford. Cool. Well, we'll leave it there as undecided whether it's pointless by our opinions.
Happy Christmas, this is Fun Times for Talk.